Welcome back to another episode of No Money Spent. It is almost Team of the Year. And after yesterday, when they dropped a blog post, if you didn't watch my video on it, I went over all of the news. It did look like the nominee cards were coming back to NHL 25. And for anyone that hasn't been playing since the inception of Team of the Year, the nominee cards essentially we're back in NHL 20, the inaugural way of the event, I believe. It just feels like it was so long ago. However, that caused a lot of panic, obviously, because it's like, well, we're just changing up Team of the Year entirely, and everyone that's preparing for it or spending months preparing for it, we're kind of lost, myself included. We did get an update. This is from EA. You'll be able to build Team of the Year players without the nominees. There will be multiple avenues. More info next week. Nominees will just help provide a discount. It is unfortunate that that wasn't just explained in the blog post and that it is not some sort of public, announcement. But that being said, now you've got it if you listen to my channel. So again, if you are new here, subscribe. I will provide you with all the info that I get as soon as I do get it. So it does look like they're just changing up Team of the Year. The nominee cards that will be released on Wednesday of next week. It looks like they're just like a fun little new aspect, which I don't hate. Team of the Year is... I've talked about this quite a bit. I think it's an unbelievable event because you get like some of the best cards ever all year round. I just hate that the entire game essentially operates around Team of the Year, which kind of takes away from just the overall week-to-week enjoyment of it. And judging by social media, Reddit, my own comments, Twitter, Twitch, all of it, it's just everyone is so locked in on what to do with Team of the Year. And for anyone that is new to the game, if you don't get a Team of the Year card, the game is not over. I think last year it proved more than anything that this content team will not just blindly get Team of the Year cards to 99, and they won't do it with any haste either. So if you miss out, the game's not over. I will say also, one of the good things the content team has done this year was that during the fantasy event, they actually gave us 2 BND fantasy cards. I would hazard a guess that we are going to be able to make a Team of the Year card for almost free. In terms of collection, you're going to have to spend a lot of time doing your chores. They're going to make it very difficult to do all your objectives, moments, all of that. But I would hazard a guess that you're going to be able to come very close to making a Team of the Year card for free. So enjoy that. No confirmation. It's just my own guess on it. And I know that we're going to receive a ton of Team of the Year comments in the next couple of videos over the next week. I'll be trying to answer all of the biggest ones. But that being said, let's get into this episode's questions. And we're going to start with a lineup question. Love that. This comes from Taps. Hello, Sleeves. Thanks for the content. I'll jump right into it. I have both modern and vintage sets filled, and I got to do is press triangle to complete both sets. I don't know who to get. Here's who I have. He's got Barzal, Sakic, and McDavid, Point, Messier, and Suzuki, Thornton, Hossa, Nylander, Aho, Barkov, and Hughes. He's got ASP, Power, Montour, Coffee, Dobson, Hedman. Thanks for all you do. Okay, well, I really thought the 2000s event we would get like almost all of the icons from like Iginla was a big one. Oh, and someone also asked, where did my Iginla jersey go? Just rotated some things out. My Ovechkin jersey is signed, and he's on the chase for Wayne Gretzky. And Kevin, he is a baller. He is one of the best players that I've ever gotten to watch in junior, playing for my Niagara Ice Dogs. So he was... nice enough to sign my New Jersey here, so he replaced him. Then obviously Logan Couture, the captain of my Sharks. Anyways, sorry. Back to your question on who you should get. I would go with Gretzky as your vintage. I think that he is just the safest. He's a very good card with elite edges. It's unreal. In terms of your modern, it's very difficult. You have Sakic and Messier, which means that like Sundin doesn't have the same value to you specifically. Lidstrom only went up to an 88, and we don't know when his 89 will come out or when he'll get feature upgrades. I actually really like Niedermeyer, the modern for the modern icon. I think he's got great skating, and that might be a way to go. But for the most part, it's just pick your favorite players if you have one. But I would go Gretzky and Niedermeyer. In regards to what you said about earning XP in game with event players. Couldn't they use the Hut Rush point mechanic? For example, 5 XP for a pass in squad battles, 10 in rivals. I can't remember how much every move is worth in Hut Rush. So this is what I was talking about, how I hope in the future that everything is run by XP, so that instead of having to do, play 25 games with an event card. It's just get 1,000 XP with event player items, right? That way you can play rivals, you can play whatever. The Hut Rush like point tracking was so busted, and I think it was only for that mode. I don't know how they'd be able to implement it. That's a tech question that I can't answer, unfortunately. Because he says instead of a pressure meter, they should put a tilt meter so we can gauge if we should just quit or what might reduce it or enhance the amount of tilt in game. Playing a 20-minute game, throwing 25 shots at them against 10 saves in NHL history, then to lose that game on 5 to 7 shots against and a couple muffin goals, having to win 30 rivals games against tilt algorithm is not easy. Ice tilt, the all-time NHL tinfoil hat theory. I have thought a lot about ice tilt over the years, and if you watch me play NHL, I don't even get upset when I lose on like just an absolute egregious goal, and that's because the NHL video game. This is always going to be, guys, why my stance on that there just will never be a universally loved NHL gameplay game. And the reason is that the game of hockey is incredibly luck-based. There are instances throughout the entire history of the sport where if you were to replay a moment, 1,000 times, that might not ever happen, right? Like the luck involved in winning the Stanley Cup is a big reason why it's the hardest trophy in sports to win. And in a video game, like, how do you code that? There's obviously calculations that run in the background. For example, if you take a one-timer with 99 accuracy and power from a certain spot, the puck should just go in. It doesn't sometimes. Sometimes they miss the net. So obviously there is something that goes on that, tries to implement luck, if that makes any sense. There's no way to prove it, right? And I don't think that you should waste time blaming every loss on ice tilt. I think that for the majority of time, guys, when you lose a game, it is because you lose to the better player. And a lot of us have a hard time accepting that. I mean, as a human, it's hard to just be like, I lost a game or lost anything and be like, you know what? That one's on me. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is the game. But you're playing a game that mimics a sport that is incredibly luck-based, right? And I don't know how they ever fix that. And, so if you watch me play on stream, I will never freak out, rage, even talk that much, talk a lot of shit anymore. I just accept it. It is what it is, right? It's not going to ruin my day anymore. And I think that, like I said, I don't know how you code what the actual sport mimics. And a lot of people don't want that in game. Some people want it to mimic the sport, right? Which is just, it is what it is. Lineup decision. Team stacked, and I've got what I need for Team of the Year. I don't know what to do with my low overall players. 347 cards between 76 and 79. I also have 6 base icons for each set, modern and vintage. Already have Niedermeyer and X Factor. McDavid is done. Option 1. Stack everything and sell/build once X Factor Series 2 comes out. Option 2, build a modern and vintage power icon thinking Gretzky Chelios. 3, go outside and enjoy life. Well, obviously, it's not go outside and enjoy life. But given the fact we don't know how Series 2 X Factors are going to work, or if they even exist at this point. I mean, at this point, we're what? October, November, December, January. 4 months in. Like, that says that there's only going to be 3 supercharged cards, right? We don't know how they're going to, we don't know when the next one's going to work, I would have to assume. I did the grind for McDavid. I can tell you right now, not worth it. Like, it's one of the best cards to use, but Parayko also exists, so does Sorelli. But it's not worth... I spent 2.5 months of basically avoiding... icons or certain event cards. Like, I just tried to grind for McDavid. And I think it is good to have a chase card that is so far and away. I think that Team of the Year is terrifying for McDavid owners. We'll see how that works. But it honestly could wipe out that grind. And then what happens then, right? It depends. Secondly, I would just wait because Team of the Year is that one event where, like, you might as well just try and throw everything at it, even though I think it's boring to do that. But in your situation, man, like, those 76 and 79 cards, if they allow you to make, some extra collectibles or however the event's going to work, you might as well just do that. Most views on MLB videos is not crazy at all. Much larger community base, more player base, more clicks. So this was in reference to last video. I talked about how this year I really wanted to give it my all when it comes to being a 50-50 creator for the MLB video game and NHL. So not take away any of my NHL content, but just add MLB on top of it because I dabble in it every year. The fact that I have almost 70,000 subscribers that are all almost here because of NHL videos, the fact that 5 or 6 of my top 10 videos of all time are MLB based is actually insane. Like it is crazy that is how my videos break down, because regardless if they get more clicks or they have a 10 times larger community, the fact that, I've built a very big following on NHL, or as big as I possibly can. I don't know how much bigger I can get. The fact that a lot of my videos on MLB are all among my best is crazy to me, and it's just kind of a sign that I should, hey, let's pay more attention to MLB. It feels like the EA team is using NHL 25 as a platform to try out all their content ideas. Obviously, the squad battle changed a bad idea, and the community let them know. Let's keep voicing our opinions and changes, and maybe we'll end up with a game we can really enjoy. This comes with this brings me back to thinking about NHL 23, where the way that a yearly sports game is a very difficult turnaround time, and the NHL is one of the smaller ones, if not the smallest yearly game. That being said, it's very frustrating to release a live service game in which you are basically player testing for the next game. And the content team made the most drastic changes to the economy, how we build our teams, the events, all of it. And we're just going through it in 25. And it seems like this is after 4 months of watching how this game has unfolded, there has been some good changes, but it just strikes me as anything the prior content teams have ever released has to be undone so that they can put their own stamp on it. And hey, if I was, trying to put my claim on the game and I took over as leading the content team, then, maybe that's where I would look too. But it's just every event has to be different. It can't, even if we enjoyed it, like, you know what I mean? There has to be a spin, and it just seems like it's just they're doing it for the sake of doing it, right? And some of it has been really bad, but it is what it is. We're addicts to NHL, and this is the game we got. So it stinks. So yes, that would be amazing about the XP instead of chores. I gave up doing chores long ago because I finally have a team I worked hard to get and want to use. Really hope they change this. Yeah, that's something that they're gonna have to fix. Like the objectives thing. Objectives are fine to work towards, but it just when you're having to play modes and things, I say this all the time. Doing something you don't want to do for a reward at the end is literally just a job. That is the definition of going to work and getting a paycheck. And a video game should be the last thing like that. It is an escape from reality. That is what a video game is. And while you can't just give out rewards, right, there are definitely ways to improve how you earn those rewards so that play the way you want to play. That is it. That it should be every single content release they do or anything they implement should be, can people play the way they want to play? And then go from there. Would be pretty cool if they had a player XP as well, like MLB The Show. Say you have an 89 Brett Hull and you want to keep him all year long. The more you play with him, the better he gets overall. But like MLB, don't let his overall go past a +5. So 200 goals of Brett Hull, he goes from 89 to a 94, and goals in between gradually upgrade. This is the parallel system for anyone that hasn't played MLB. It is... I remember when it came out, I think it was MLB 21. I thought, I still believe this, it's one of the best features in all of Ultimate Team games. So how it works for anyone that doesn't know, in-game, we'll use David Ortiz, probably my favorite Red Sox player of all time. David Ortiz, you get a 90 overall card, okay? You can earn up to 5,000 XP, which takes quite a while, but like getting to Parallel 1, it's like 500 XP, which might be getting a couple home runs in Conquest or online, it doesn't matter where, and he will earn XP. All of his attributes will go up by +1, then +2, +3, +4, and then caps it at 5. So it means that the more you use the card in game and the way that you're, on different teams, you will get a visual representation and in-game improvement to that card because you've enjoyed using him. And God, that should be in every game. That should be in every game. It rewards playing with the cards that you like. It would make theme teams so much more viable. Touching on the comment from a former game industry employee about changing game mechanics. Oh, this is actually interesting. The way X Factors and power-up icons work this year represents a seismic shift in how we build and upgrade our teams. On an island, that is fine, as 25 is a new iteration of the game, but the fact that it's January 13th and Lidstrom I built on October 20th still has the same max overall as an MSP from the first week of October is outrageous, especially considering the cost and reward structure at the time. So this was obviously right before he got an 88, but this still rings true. Even if he gets a +3 or +4 over the next week or two, that is ridiculous. Getting regular incremental upgrades was much better than overalls going up by chunks every few months, presumably because many of the icons haven't been upgraded. 100% agree, man. This was, from what I can see, again, they don't talk to us, so I have no idea what they're thinking, and I don't think a lot of their ideas have any planning to them. I have my own experiences with that from them. But it strikes me as they just want to get rid of those year-long cards. Like, we went from, 60 icons that went +1 every month, right? We're down to 12 holograms, and I like the fact there is some highlighted cards. The hologram card art's incredible. They get free zone abilities. All that's cool. But when they're at the mercy of upgrading, if they don't... I don't want to say they forget, but... they did not take the cost into account here, man. Like, it is 1 million coins, and it is just so much, right? And we still have to pay for the upgrade, too. Yeah, now the upgrade cost is very low. But I'm with you here, man. Like, I think it was boring that every month they went +1. But my God, dude, like, I would take that over what we've got now, hands down. Like, there is, I just feel like we're gonna get to a place where there's no X Factors, there's no power-up icons, and it's just event cards because that has us chasing money every week, like chasing packs every week, right? And I don't know, maybe I don't know, I don't think that's a good thing, but nonetheless, I just this has been a very big issue for sure, and which is another reason why, guys, I'm warning everyone that if you save all year round and you're getting all of the Team of the Year cards, like, you could run into this situation. Miro Heiskanen literally didn't get 99 last year. So just keep that in mind. Div 5 player chiming in here. Why so much criticism on the Gallery of Greats event? I thought it was great. Getting an 89 card that will stay in my lineup longer is a huge perk. I get rewarding higher ranked players, but I have to log about twice as much time playing the game to get Hedman and now Larkin as a Div 1 or 2 player. Realistically, I'm not making Div 2, so I think that's fine to have an element that in the long run helps out a lower ranked player. NHL is a game of attrition. I basically make an MSP each event. For 18 skaters on the ice, that would take 36 weeks to fill. Having a card that stays on the team longer due to the free ability is a huge plus, especially when I don't really have much interest this year on team builders or icons. I'm more focused on McDavid, as I ended up with 3 usable cards for the season, same as Team of the Year. Grabbing hopefully 2 players that are relevant for the season is pretty meaningful for those in the lower tiers. 100% agree. I think my take on the Gallery of Greats event, I just might not have been getting it across. In a vacuum, the Gallery of Greats event was one of the best we've ever gotten. Like, claps to the content team. Unbelievable event. It had great selections. Every card had a argument to be picked over another. You got lineup diversity. It was an unbelievable event. You had great cards that had some 99 overall attributes. You had free zone abilities, all of that. Incredible event. One of the best of all time. Here's the issue. You all but effectively kill the NHL 2000s event because they didn't give free zone abilities, and it doesn't look like they're going to do that again for an event. Maybe they will down the road, right? But the NHL 2000s event, those cards are just, there's no interest. There's no interest, especially if you dumped a lot of your collection into the Gallery of Greats event, right? Now, what they could have done, because Team of the Year is coming up, is if they simply flipped the order, right? First of all, right around New Year's, if you did the Y2K event, which would make more sense, did that event first. It has a lot of good cards. The power-up icons would have been upgraded. The few that got it a little bit earlier, maybe. And there are some really good cards in that event when you compare it to other events, right? Like, Marchenko's a good card. Hayduk is a good card. It's not that they're bad, right? And then the event right before Team of the Year, Gallery of Greats with free zone abilities and all of that, like, would have just done way better. Because the next event, which is coming up next Friday, is Team of the Year, is going to be one of, if not the most sought after, other than the fantasy event, maybe, event of the year. It just, that's how it works, right? But the other big issue with the Gallery of Greats event is the people that invested in the power up icons and X factors and things like that, right? So if you made Sundin, okay, if you made Sundin, will Sundin eventually be better than Messier and Iserman? Yes, in August, right? It wipes out the value of getting Sundin, in my opinion, right? Like that is the issue. So you've allowed everyone to catch up, which is good. Like I said, allowing a lot of people to get usable cards is good. It's just you can't have chase cards that are completely undermined by randomness that they just throw in there, right? And I think that was the big backlash from the community, at least from what I understood and my own opinion on it. We're gonna see it again, like given numbers, McDavid's gonna get a Team of the Year card. As someone who owns Connor McDavid, like that was a 5 million coin card to go out and get. That took me 3 months of playing the game almost every single day. And there's a lot of people out there that don't play this game as like a job, right? That you are proud that you earned that card. If Team of the Year is something similar, like I don't know what the response is. And it's just a lack of planning that would allow that situation, right? But again, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Obviously, I love going through all the takes, and we're going to get into a lot of Team of the Year. So for anyone that is not interested in Team of the Year, I apologize. I want to answer as many Team of the Year questions as I can going over this next week, especially as we get more news. I will be sure to update you guys as soon as possible. But thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.